Don in London, hello. It's January 6th, 2013. My video's all about recovery from addiction to either substance or behaviour. And my addictive substance was alcohol. It could have been any substance, I guess. I'm still addicted to coffee. I'm working on that one. Or behaviour around people, places and things. So, addict of a substance and trying to be perfect. Be with the right people, in the right places, doing the right things, needing or wanting the right things, looking right, not necessarily feeling right about life. So it's some time into recovery for me, but life is still one day at a time. And in the moment of now, these are the things I've learned, that life is happening right now. It's not about my history, but my history can pull me up suddenly in sometimes the way I behave. So I try to keep things in the moment and live an open, honest and willing type of life. And when life isn't working, I ask for help. And the best help I can get often is from those who are also in sobriety. So I'm very happy to say I belong to a fellowship, and that fellowship is Alcoholics Anonymous. I can only speak about how it helps me, and I never ever speak for people in the fellowship, because they have their own voice, clearly, and they share about their recovery where they will. So I can share about my recovery, and the fact that AA is at the bedrock of it, but I don't share about other people's stuff on a personal level. But they do impact on me every single day, if I go to meetings and if I keep in touch with people in recovery. So recovery comes first, and then the rest of life can happen. So what is this fellowship all about? Here I have this little book which says AA on the front of it, the little book of AA, and around the AA sign is a triangle, and on that triangle are the words unity, service and recovery. So unity, service and recovery is about fellowship. That's what it's about. Working together in unity, doing some service, helping people in order to help ourselves, and maintain recovery one day at a time. So whatever you see of the fellowship of AA, it's only as good as it gets today. And sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be bad, and sometimes it can feel downright ugly. But we're still learning whether it's good, bad or ugly. It's telling us what we know is going to work for us. So if it's bad and ugly, it's not for us. But if it's good information and a good way forward, maybe we can adopt some of the things that people are saying. We're all different, unique, authentic, in my view. So what works for me might not work for you. And that's how recovery works. We find people sharing a story of recovery which is similar to our own, and that's called sharing experience, strength and hope. So there's an AA preamble which I share here, because it reminds me of what AA is all about. And this AA preamble is said at the beginning of every meeting I know, and anything connected with the fellowship, and it's the first thing that comes in on this little book. And this little book can be found online, and it can also be found at meetings if the meeting has sufficient funds to buy it, and then sell it on at cost to anybody who wants it. I think it was about 75p or something, around $1 mark I guess. But I find it useful because it's got some of the most important elements of why fellowship works. But the first and foremost is the preamble of AA, which explains it all, really. So I'll share it now. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. I notice there's no guarantees in there. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. So it's that, a desire to stop drinking. There are no fees, I'll say it again, there are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. And I was very poor when I got to fellowship, and now I break even, which is just about okay. But if we're poor and we need money for food, there are other people putting money into the hat, paying for the meeting space and anything else that's required to keep things on the road. So don't make your life worse by not eating properly. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution, does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. But the good news is you can be allied to whatever you want to be allied to. Fellowship is for sobriety, and the rest of life can happen. Our primary purpose within fellowship is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And part of this is the fact that you will hear all sorts of stories where people share their experience, strength and hope of what is going on in their day today. And yesterday got to a meeting, which is good for me, and I mean it is good for me to get to meetings. Somebody said it in the meeting, what happens over a period of time is we get to know the people in the meetings we go to, and we know them by their first name, and we may or may know more about them depending on the level of openness that people have or anonymity they want to protect. So one of the things which is important and was highlighted in what another person said, I know all the names of the people in this room, their first names, but not their last names, but I also know pretty much about what they can and cannot do today. And it's all about learning how to live life one day at a time. And the beauty is we do make friends in fellowship. We may or may not get to know their last names, but that's not important. It's about sharing openly, honestly and with willingness. So we help each other to find out what the truth is today. And my meeting yesterday was all about something called the spiritual experience. And that can be a spiritual experience which is described as coping in the moment of now by one archbishop, not the current one or the one who's just about to be put in. And they're in a sorry mess about various things to do with people's personal identity. But when asked what is spiritual, and he said it's the ability to cope with reality, that struck home for me, because he didn't insist I believe in God or anything. Just the ability to cope with reality is spiritual, living in the moment of now, where we know how our feelings work. So if we feel good, we're going to have a good experience. We're probably going to think happy and act happy. But if life is bad, we'll think bad and behave bad. And if it's ugly, our feeling, that is, reflecting what is going on, ugly feelings make for ugly thinking and then ugly actions. So being aware of the feelings we have, the emotions, what happens when we start thinking with those emotions in our background, and the actions which follow, start the process of learning what's good, what's bad and what's ugly. So if our feelings are going astray or awry, then we know where the actions may follow. But today, this morning, I feel good. I've done a bit of writing which will accompany this video. I'm trying to do things afresh, going back to basics, and maybe try 90 meetings in 90 days, which was where I started. Not only did I do 90 meetings in 90 days, sometimes I went to 3 meetings a day, so God knows how many I did, because I don't. But it doesn't matter, it's what keeps us sober, and how much effort we put in. Effort in equals rewards out. So the more effort we put into being open, honest and willing, and learning how to ask for help, rather than be isolated and in the old form of thinking which drives us to drink, the better we will be able to accept and admit where we are on a daily basis. So recovery is one day at a time. At the end of all these videos, I do share the serenity prayer, which is to God, or good, or whatever it is that you believe in. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. For me is always in the moment and just for today.